Assalamu alaikum viewers. This is Roshan Mohammed for another Ramzan Delights from Roshan's Kitchen. Today I have Chef Safia. She's going to be making a Rasmalai. I've learned something from her. I didn't know this. She's going to give us some extra tips. So I leave you to tell them about the ingredients, Safia.
Assalamu alaikum. Jazakallah for having me again, Auntie Roshan. So today we're making Rasmalai, and I'm just going to show you a few tricks and trades of how to make it so that it doesn't break or become dry, and different flavors that we can make. So as you can see, we have some milk boiling on the stove already. It's about 3 cups of milk, and to that we're going to add some sugar. So this is about half a cup of sugar. We've got whole elachi, which I'm going to break and add. We've got crushed elachi as well. I've got pistachios for crushing for the garnishing. I've got a whole egg, which I'm going to beat. I've got some ghee, or you can use butter, and I've got 1 cup of milk powder. And then that's what we're going to use to make our dough. So we're going to start off in a bowl. In a bowl, we're going to add our milk powder. And we're going to add, so this is about, I'd say, half a teaspoon of ghee to our mixture. And our baking powder. So with the baking powder, I've got about half a teaspoon of baking powder in here, or I think it's about between half a teaspoon to 1 teaspoon. You can see as you go. We don't want to add too much or too little because we don't want our dough balls to break. And then from there, we're going to add it. And while we're going to be busy with that, we can see our milk is boiling. And then from there, we're just going to infuse the ghee into the milk powder. And we're going to break it into it. This is going to give a nice flavor to our dough balls. Then what we're going to do is we're just going to beat our egg a little bit. And once it's all incorporated nicely together, we're going to add it to our dough mixture. You can add it slowly and let it start to form a nice soft dough. We don't want our dough too dry as well, but we want everything to come together. Depending on the size of your egg, you can add a little bit more, a little bit less, but I use a large egg and that should be sufficient. As you can see, it's starting to stick to my hand. And as you can also see, our milk is starting to become hot. What I will do is I'm going to add my sugar to it. So this is white sugar and it's half a cup. So half a cup to 3 cups of milk. And then I'm going to add my elachis as well. So we're just going to pop that into our milk. Let that infuse while we are busy with our dough. And with my elachis, I like to use whole elachis and just crack it a little bit so the flavor can come out more. Okay. And then we're going to finish off with the rest of our egg. And while that's boiling, let us mix this and we can form the dough. Now with this dough, it's very important that once we form it, we're going to work quickly. We're going to make it into dough balls and we're going to roll it. I'd say we roll it into about 2 tablespoons, 2 teaspoons actually. Let's make it not too big so that it it's not too big and it cooks nicely in the milk. And then what you must do is please have a tray ready with some cling wrap so that once your dough balls are formed, please cover it so that it doesn't have a dry film on top of it while your milk is boiling. And the nice thing about Rasmalai is, like again, you can make so many flavors. So I'm just making a very basic plain one. This is just like, a foundation for the type of ones you can make. So as you can see, I've got a nice dough. Our dough is very nice. It's nice and smooth, nice and soft. And then from there, I am going to roll it into a nice ball. As you can see, it's nice and smooth. And from there, there's my ball. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to flatten it a bit and we're going to add a imprint into it. And from there, I'm going to take it and put it into my tray. So as you can see, we've made our dough balls already. I've made just a few different sizes so you can see. I like to have mine a little bit bigger. Some people like to have theirs a little bit smaller. Do remember that it does blow up a little bit once you put it into the boiling milk. Now, as you can see, we have our milk here. It's already starting to simmer. I need it at a boil. Please note that do not put the dough balls in before it starts boiling, because then it will get hard. It will be hard inside. So we're just going to wait for this to boil. And what's nice about it, please put your elachi in also, because what happens is it helps to infuse it into the milk. And we have our sugar mixed in as well. Let the sugar melt in nicely as well. So as you can see, we've got our milk here waiting for it to come to a boil. Now our milk is starting to boil and we can throw in our dough. Please be careful with it as well. Keep an eye on it, watch it. You don't want your milk to scorch as well. And then we're just going to throw it in. Try and place them not too close to each other. And as you can see, now they're going to start coming to the top. And once they come to the top, so we're just waiting for all of them to come to the top. And then you'll see that they will actually turn themselves. And then once that happens, we are going to close it about halfway and we're going to let that cook for about 8 to 10 minutes. So now you can see that our milk is boiling and our things have come to the surface. What I'm going to do is I'm going to lower the heat. And we want it to simmer. So I'm going to lower it to heat to about 2 on our electric stove. And then I'm just going to cover it halfway. And then I'm going to leave it for about 8 to 10 minutes. And then we'll let it cook nicely. The importance of it going into boiling milk is that, like I said, the balls need to cook right through the middle. If the milk is not boiling, then it's going to go hard. All right, now our rasmalai is ready. As you can see, our balls have swelled up quite nicely. And then we're going to garnish it. I've got some crushed elachi here, which I'm just going to sprinkle over. And then from there, I've got some crushed pistachios. And you may add anything that you like. You can even do a bit of rose petals or saffron, anything. You can do pecan nuts, you can do almonds, anything that suits your preference. And there we have it.
So Safia, you taught me something today. I don't put ghee. And you said a teaspoon of ghee, and I think that made a difference. So I learned something today. It's never too late to learn. And I think it's been an amazing journey with you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you. And the nice thing about this is that, like I said, you can change the flavors. And, with your baking powder as well, just be a little bit careful. Make sure that it's nicely leveled, because it can break the dough as well once you put it into the milk. And let's remember to also put it into the boiling milk so that it can cook through. And as well, just make sure your sizes are right. Do it towards your preference, but a medium size helps it to cook through very nicely.
Okay. I add saffron to mine. I love the saffron flavor. Yeah.
Yes. So please, you can make it creative. Like I said, you can add the pistachio. You can put a bit of pistachio cream into the milk. The most important thing is to whatever flavor that you do want to use, infuse it into your milk, because the milk starts to boil. It helps to get that flavor into the milk.
Yes.
So be creative and make the best of it.
Ramzan Kareem to all of you. Assalamu alaikum, my darling.
Walaikum salam. Thank you for having me.